And Dan has been in good contact with them, so I'm calling Dan.
Call the mayor.
Yeah.
Hey, Mayor, how are you? Good. Are you coming to the meeting today at noon? The Community Redevelopment Advisory Committee meeting? Yeah,
And we've got lunch
and
afterwards
then
at the
there's lunch
Blanche.
afterwards at the Blanche. All right, so I'll tell you how they will make it. Okay. I'll tell you. All right, bye-bye.
Mister, could you maybe sit by one of those speakers there, microphones? Because we have, in case someone calls in,
They want to hear your
Hey,
voice.
is there anybody on the call?
No.
I'm gonna use the camera.
I didn't forget. All right, it's 12 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started. Call this meeting to order. Ms. Sykes, if you would call the roll.
Ms. Moses,
Here.
Mayor Witt, Mr. Helpenberger,
Here.
Mr. Beal, Ms. Hires. Here. Mr. Hunter, Mr. Kirkendall, Mr. McCallum,
Here.
Ms. Janet Moses. Here. Ms. Pinto, Mr. Simmons, Ms. Spivey,
Here.
and Mr. Van.
Do you want me to? Yeah. Yes, we'd like to. We'd like to welcome, we have Mr. Sweat, who has moved. Our new Assistant City Manager. We'd like to welcome him. And also, I'd like to welcome Todd Sampson, who will be taking my seat for District 13 very soon. Not soon enough, I might add. No. So, and who else have we got that's there? And Terry Phillips. What is her actual title?
Her title is the Community Program Manager.
So we are so glad that she's here to program our community. That sounds good. Okay, I'm assuming everyone's had a chance to look at the minutes.
Approval of agenda.
Do what?
Approval of agenda.
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I've read minutes. I don't know why.
It's okay.
Has everybody had a chance to look at their agenda? Have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay, so we will go to updates, discussion, and action items, approval of the minutes. I'm assuming that you've had a chance to look over them, and do I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Your second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Update on Sally Mae Jerry Park. Mr. Helpenberger?
Okay, the city is looking to obtain 3 to 4 park designs to vet publicly and present to the city council for consideration for Sally Mae Jerry Park. Marty Humphreys with the local DOT will be meeting with staff and interested parties to gather information so that he can draft several designs for this park. He may do this work for free, and it would take him 2 to 3 weeks until he would be able to finish the design, and he comes very highly recommended.
Good deal.
And I don't know, Dan, would you have anything further you'd like to?
No, sir, not at this time. That's where we stand at this moment.
Okay,
So once we get those plans, then we can proceed.
right.
Okay? Sounds good. Did you say a time frame?
About 2 to 3 weeks, he can have it done.
The tennis courts, Mr. Helpenberger?
Okay, as many people are aware, the asphalting has been done. there's one set of 2 courts that still needs to be sealed. And once that's done, they can finish the surface painting that needs to happen, and then we're at substantial completion.
Right, they need to be painted and sealed.
Right, and the sidewalks turned out great. It's all handicapped accessible. So we're just anxiously waiting to have this final punch list items done so we can say it's totally done.
What are they gonna do about the fencing on the ends that's not tall enough?
We'll take a look at that, and we can come back with a recommendation.
Okay. So I do not need to bring my tennis racket to the meeting on Monday, is what you're telling me.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, Gwen Lake, Mr. Heffenberger.
Okay. Florida Fill and Grade was the sole bidder that was accepted, that was approved by the city council after the price was negotiated down to $400,000, the amount of the 2 grants. Phase 1 did not have any bidders. The Swanee River Water Management District allowed the city to combine phases 1 and 2. They were bid out together. 5 firms were personally contacted, but only 1 returned a bid. Construction is projected to start at the end of the month for phase 1 and 2 combined. In addition, an EDA grant is being worked on to fund additional phases. There are a total of 6 phases. Essentially, the sediment is being blocked from entering the lake before it is cleaned out, and the dam repair is part of the total project. These phases that are being worked on now would be basically blocking and filtering out the sediment so it doesn't go into the lake and stopping the erosion.
Okay. So that's it? Gwen Lake,
Yep.
okay. Wilson Park,
Under phase 1, the irrigation system's completed, and one of the remaining items is the installation of the sound system, and so that needs to be finalized to finish off phase 1. Under phase 2, a grant was submitted to the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity on November 9th. The application was for a community development block grant for public facilities for the amphitheater with fencing and landscaping. If funds permitted, then lighting and replacement of a fountain could be funded. It's anticipated, though, that there will only be enough funding to cover the amphitheater. There are, at this point, 4 submissions under the commercial section of community enhancement, and an official decision should be made by late December on this. And if awarded, we would have a site committee visit shortly after that.
so once you're awarded that, does the money come immediately?
It's a reimbursement. You spend the money and then you submit for reimbursement. And the design was already done for the amphitheater, so we expect it to be able to go to bid fairly quickly. And we'd like this to be a quick turnover so we can use that grant process for other purposes in the future. For example, we want to, once we get into the housing area, we want to stay in the housing area for quite a while to make a difference, and don't want to get this out of the way, so we just stay with housing after this.
Yeah, because we had committed to 7 years.
Right, and the one reason that we're trying to get this out of the way is because the city has already spent $130,800 on the design to get it ready for bid, to get the points up front through a TDC grant. It's reimbursable only after the total project is completed. So we'd have to finish the project to be able to recoup those funds. And that's why we're trying to get this project out of the way as quick as possible. The other thing is that the state did delay the application process 4 times because of the COVID situation. It's finally underway.
Thank goodness.
Hallelujah.
I know, in my lifetime.
That's right.
Okay, Main Street program.
Okay, and I would ask Terry to talk a little bit about that. She worked very hard on it, and she had gathered information from the state experts and from local communities that were very similar to ours.
Yes. I have been working on getting the city reorganized, and whenever I say reorganized, we did have a Main Street program in the late 80s, but it was never really implemented here. So I'm trying to get it reorganized with the Main Street program. This program will promote help with the downtown revitalization and historic preservation and lessen the burdens off of the city's government. The Main Street program uses a 4-point approach with different committees. Those committees would be promotion, design, economic structuring, and organization. Some things that the Main Street will help us with in our downtown areas is increase foot traffic downtown, which would be wonderful, create positive experiences and memories, increase positive participation in downtown activities, and increase economic vitality downtown. I will also be looking for committee members for the Main Street program. I'm looking for individuals who have a vast interest in our downtown area and one that will be willing to put in a lot of time and effort into this program. So I'm very excited to do this, and I'm gonna need a lot of the community's help with this.
Sounds good. It was the late 80s when we did this before? Wow.
Yeah, it was actually not the city. It was, I believe it was the TDC with Paulette Lord.
Uh-huh,
Yes, Harvey.
Uh-huh. wow.
This whole,
I got a huge packet, and I went to Audrey. And
Yeah.
because it was huge, and I've been working on it for days. And I actually just called the Main Street program, and they said, oh, y'all have already been approved. It was just that we had this died out, so we had to recertify, which was huge, that I did, we have to do all that. So,
Do we pay for that? Do you pay anything to be a member of Main Street, or?
no, I don't believe there's a fee, but no, we will be, they will come in and do audits and things like that, so.
So what are the expectations for Main Street? What do they expect us to do? What do we have to do to stay certified or whatever?
There's a list.
Is it
Yes,
extensive?
yes. And I can get you that.
Okay. Or Mr. Sampson,
Yeah.
or somebody.
Well, you're gonna be on.
Excuse me, Ms. Mayor.
Yeah.
Actually, it's like an accreditation process that you have to go through, and she's got the whole list there of everything that's needed. And we might have to get some guidance from Fred on that. I would almost think that the council would have to authorize to move forward with that Main Street program, because there is going to be probably some funding could be involved in that. It's a very intense program. Terry's about to be very, very busy if the council desires to move forward with that. Because you heard her say there has to be the 4 committees. That's 4 additional committees that the city would be appointing for the Main Street program. So that's staff resources and things of that nature. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
So just so I understand, they provide, Main Street provides funding opportunities for us.
Yeah.
Grants, things like that.
Yeah, they help us through those processes, so in order to.
And I've been in contact with Jessica in Wauchula, and they do the program. And it's under the city like we're gonna be doing, but she's a city employee, but the Main Street program is they register it as a nonprofit, a 501c3. That way she gets out of all the meetings and, the stuff with the city.
That's my.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, when you say meetings and staff, my ears kind of perk up. And I'm like, I didn't know if Terry understood, and that's why when she first came to me and I looked at it and I said, oh my gosh, Terry, do you realize how much work you're about to be doing here? Because that's a lot.
And you won't have to advertise those meetings because it's run through the 501(c)(3)
Yes.
instead of the city. Okay.
It's gonna have to be separate.
So we'll need to get our.
But I could still oversee it being a city employee,
Uh-huh,
but it would pretty much run itself with me overseeing.
uh-huh.
So I need somebody that's gonna be in the board that's gonna really, be assertive and all, so I can get with them to make sure it's running. correctly.
Uh-huh,
So,
okay.
does that make sense?
And is that, that's just a volunteer, that's not there's not another paid employee to work with just Main Street. You're over it, and then you have to get volunteers.
You may need another paid employee there to take all that on. That's a lot. It's a lot. And that's what I had shared with her. But I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know if you need like some formal council action in order to.
Yeah, it would be good to have a recommendation to the city council in favor of going this direction to get the recertification. I agree. We need to run this through the city council because it's a significant amount of city resources. But at the end of the day, you'll have some grants available. You can get technical assistance, either free or at very low cost, to help with some expert advice on developing the downtown. And if you're in a historic district, sometimes you have the ability to get 100% grant with no match for the historic district area for eligible items. So the funding mechanism is huge. In one community, we had the National Main Street help us for free for quite a bit, and we wound up being able to do total facade improvement on the entire block, both sides, in the core of the downtown, and that kind of really changed the downtown appearance.
Wow.
So there's a lot of possibilities, but it'll be very successful if you have active, passionate people on the board. That's what would drive it.
Madam Chair?
Mr. McCallum, did you have a question?
Yes, this is a state-sponsored program.
Yes.
I mean, it's,
It is something
the
that we
fundings
did.
are, but
Isn't it national?
we have to own it.
I mean, like the funding that is proposed to come to this program would come from the state level, is that right?
The funding is mostly through the state. Sometimes, in some instances, the national will get involved, but it's generally through the state.
Yeah, they had a program they call the Front Porch Program. They got other programs as well. But this be something we'll be doing
Right.
locally.
Oh.
I think that's good.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I don't know if Mr. McCallum, I don't know if the question is, where is the funding for the grants coming from or funding for the actual program itself? Because one of the big components in some of that documentation is a huge fundraising campaign. The members of this committee, one of the committees is going to have to be very active in raising funds to help fund the Main Street program. So that is a large component, is fundraising.
Is it kind of like a match? Do we have to match the funds that we request from the state?
No, it's not. It's actually raising the funds that you're going to be doing things in the.
Towards the operation
Towards the operation of
the
the
group.
actual program.
Right.
So that's a whole separate component. So it's not totally funded by the state. Now, the grants may be coming that way, but not.
Local
Yeah.
participation.
So, there's a lot of fundraising that'll need to be done.
By us,
Whoever is on that, yes, that's
by the committee.
very, very busy work. A lot of work. Yes.
Ms.
How does this work with the CRA? I mean, we're both working in the same district, the
Right.
same area,
Well-
so how, are we gonna be two separate entities? Or how do we do that?
They'd be separate, but Terry would be managing both to coordinate it.
Okay,
And the CRA right now is, outside of these projects, they don't have a lot of other projects going on. We have, some of the park projects. You got 2 parks within the CRA. You've got all their smaller projects you might consider, but, you could put a request to work in partnership with the CRA.
Okay.
The city's contribution would be mainly through the CRA to help with funding with Terry to be able to help.
Mhm.
But it would be CRA and general fund too, because you can't take it all out of CRA. So right now, Terry's funded through the general fund. We'll have to take a look and see how we develop this to figure out what's the best way to fund everything. But Audrey's absolutely right. A significant component towards this is that they do some fundraising to pay for a portion of the operating costs.
Jessica with Wachula, she sent me tons of stuff yesterday through email, and one of them was their budget. So I haven't got to look through that yet,
Okay,
but so it'll be her budget for the CRA and Main Street.
are you thinking that this committee should recommend to the council that we participate in Main
Yes.
Street?
Yes.
Okay,
And this would be like a reactivation of Main Street that's already still in existence on the states, with the states. So a reactivation of it and a committing of some resources to it that would, I would think, be run through the council.
and this is your recommendation that we do?
Absolutely, absolutely, because I think as we're trying to progress with the downtown, this is a tool that you can use to help with some of the fundraising that's necessary to do it. Plus, it gets the involvement of people. And again, it's going to be as successful as the people who are participating.
Okay. Would anybody feel, so we would need a motion to approve sending the recommendation from the CRA council to the city council to participate in Main Street? Anybody?
I so move that.
Second.
Second. Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay. You got that? Okay. Ms. Phillips, the holiday market.
Yes, we are gonna have a holiday market in our Leslie Park on, I believe y'all got a flyer, December 12th. From 10 to 5, it's gonna be vendors selling soap, craft, candles, gifts, holiday goodies. I am very, very surprised with the interest of this. I was worried at the beginning, you know, I wasn't gonna have anybody, but this is who has called for applications.
Wow.
I'm over 100 right now.
Hmm.
So, yes.
That's awesome.
So, and it's from homemade snacks to wreaths, ornaments, soaps, candles, handmade jewelry, all kinds of neat things. So I encourage all of you to come out, and even if someone wants to help, because I'm gonna need help setting these people up, things like that. So that's gonna be December 12th, in our Leslie Park.
Is there a way to spread this out? I know being outside, it you know, lessens the, but to really spread this out, not pack people in.
Right.
Have we kept it, how many we can do that successfully with?
I talked with Thomas, and before we got this many people interested, so I need to talk to him again. And I did talk to Mr. Hellenberger day before yesterday or Tuesday, and told him we may need to close off this road right here and use City Hall's parking lot as well, just to spread people out. And I am gonna have to use the parking lot over in front of the courthouse, all of that over there, and the park. To spread out.
Why didn't we use Wilson Park?
I was trying to keep it in our Lusty Park because I know when we moved the Lusty Festival over there, that our downtown merchants had no traffic. And we're trying to bring people to those merchants down here. And most of our people are down on this area, down on this end. So I was trying to get it over here, and Highway 90 out here, people ride by and will see it and will stop.
Uh-huh.
And when over there, they don't really ride by. That was my thought process.
Do y'all do, Ms. Moses, did you want to speak to that? What are
She's
your
right
thoughts?
about the traffic flow. They go over there and they stay there. They don't come back down here. And it's a beautiful park, and the vendors can actually pull up and park and work from their car, you know, unload from their car without having to to carry it into the park, it'll work perfect. I do suggest that maybe you limit it to like 50 instead of 100 because of the spacing.
Yeah.
And if you get too many vendors, you have less money spread around with them. And I know that some people have to pick and choose.
Yeah, and like, this was the people that were interested. I haven't
Yeah.
gotten all those back yet, so.
So 50 is a pretty good number, if you think about it in a park like that. It could almost be on the outskirt of the park, and the farmer's market, you could put some over there to make it look more inviting. But yes, we definitely need more activity on this one.
And
I'm
also,
sending them over there.
and I also contacted Captain Brown, and she has a junior market for children who make stuff, and they're gonna participate in it as well. So I thought that was neat.
Yeah. So how many do you have interested? I mean, do you believe that you'll be able to limit it, you could limit it to 50?
I could, yes. Like I said, I have over 100 interested that I've gotten back.
I just did an art show out of state Mississippi, and they put us 10 feet apart, and it worked out really good. People could not be in a flow of traffic. They could step out of, so that spacing was good. It's almost like a booth, an empty booth, and then another booth space. Your 10 is like 10 by 10.
So I have 23 so far that have come back.
So maybe 50, if we cut it off at 50, that would be. And personally, I'd like to see anything that we have, any flyers, anything, say that masks are encouraged.
I did put on, we encourage social distancing.
I'd say masks. I'd like to see
Yeah.
the wording, masks are encouraged. We can't mandate it.
Okay.
But if we say they're encouraged, maybe it would.
We could have masks there and on a tape, ready for the
Yeah.
people to pick up too, in case they don't have them on them.
Now, a lot of these have already gone out, but I can change it for the ones that go
Okay.
out from now on.
That'd be good. And even if we posted it, most people have a mask that they could wear, or we could, like you say, have some available for people, maybe make some signage that it's encouraged. Because I know that we've canceled a lot of stuff and because of this, and, I don't want it, it's outside, and that does give us a little bit wider safety factor, but it's still not looking very well nationwide. So, okay, and the Holly Jolly, did anybody else have any other questions about the market? Anybody? Holly Jolly Christmas carols.
Right, this is going to be Christmas carols in our Lusty Park. Santa is at, the chamber provides Santa in the park, from, I think it's 6 to 8. And I wanted to have some Christmas carolers either up on the stage or walking around the park on the 3 Saturdays in December from 6 to 8. So people can bring their blanket, a chair, sit on one of our benches and listen to the carolers sing. I've had a couple of churches that reach out to me. I know Pastor Williams, he has already picked up the 19th. He wants to provide singing that whole day, so I'm excited about that. And then I have another church on the 12th for an hour, I believe. So I'm still looking for singers or people who, my thoughts are, I would love to get some carolers, in the old, how, they dress up, ringing the bells. So if anybody knows anybody like that, let me know, or I can reach out to them. So I just wanted some Christmas carols while the people were up visiting Santa.
Okay. Anybody have anything else, future topics? Mr. Huffenberger, do you have?
Yes, we're looking at moving the Welcome to Lake City sign from the Railroad Street to Highway 100 North Marion. We're looking would have the same landscaping, but it would kind of extend to downtown reach as we're trying to expand the downtown, and we've got other projects out there like the over a multi-year project to relocate the recycling center up north away from public view. And so the start of expanding the downtown would be moving this sign further north. And ultimately our goal is to have that whole corridor coming in from 10 be a really welcoming corridor for people to come into the downtown. So this is just one of those steps. And I got Dan working on coordinating the logistics of that with them so that we make sure that gets done fairly quickly. We are also looking at extending some of the street lighting or the Christmas lighting going up that direction also. And we have power over by the Salome Jerry Park that you can put some lighting on too. That'll just be, again, we're trying to extend the reach of the downtown further. Ultimately, that entire corridor coming in from 10 being very welcome over time. Okay, she's supposed to be there at 12:30, so.
Okay. Anybody else have anything?
I just like to say thank you, Terry, for the 2 events that you've planned. That we appreciate that very much. I think that's a great start.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hope to be many more.
Ms. Moses, going back to item 6, Main Street program, that motion, the minutes need to reflect that would be to the CRA rather than the city council.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Right.
I missed a step.
That's all I have.
Okay, anything else? I believe we're adjourned. Thank you so much. This has been,
Thank you.
for those of you that hang on, we have traveled this road and I appreciate so much all your help and support through our trials and tribulations and.
Thank you for your leadership.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll miss you.
And we have a luncheon over at the Blanche for everybody, and they'd probably like to give you a little tour and update of things there. So everyone's welcome to go next door now.
Sounds good. Good.